I took a cash job no one else wanted, out in the middle of rural Arizona. And I'm telling you right now, I barely made it out alive. I know how that sounds. Like one of those stories people exaggerate for clicks. I wish that's all this was. But there's a part of me that still replays that night, trying to figure out what I walked into and what almost walked out with me. It started the way bad decisions usually do. Quietly. Bills stacking up. Hours cut. That pressure sitting in your chest when you're doing the math in your head, and it just doesn't work. I'd been refreshing job listings all day. Same stuff. Same low pay. Same, we'll get back to you. Then I saw it. Short. Barely any detail. Cash paid tonight. Physical work. Must be available immediately. Call. I stared at it longer than I should have. Something about it felt off. But that number at the end, that was all I could focus on. When I called, the guy picked up on the first ring. No greeting. Just, "You can handle yourself?" Not hello. Not who is this. That should have been enough for me to hang up. Instead, I said, "Yeah." He gave me the location, about an hour outside Flagstaff. Then he added something that stuck with me. "Once you start, you finish. Don't waste my time." And he hung up. I sat there for a second, phone still in my hand. I remember thinking, this feels wrong. But then I thought about rent, and that feeling got quieter. If you've ever ignored your gut because you needed the money, you already know how that goes. The drive out there felt longer than an hour. Once I passed the last gas station, everything changed. No lights, no traffic, just darkness and desert stretching out in every direction. By the time I turned onto the dirt road, my phone had already lost signal. That's when I almost turned around. I actually stopped the car, engine running, hands on the wheel, thinking, why am I doing this? And I swear, if I had waited another 10 seconds, I would have left. But I didn't. I shifted into drive and kept going. The house came into view out of nowhere. Old. Faded. Sitting there like it had been forgotten. There was a truck parked outside, engine ticking like it had just been shut off. So I wasn't the first one there. That thought didn't sit right. I stepped out of the car, and the air hit me. Not hot. Not cold. Just still. Too still. No wind. No insects. It felt like the whole place was holding its breath. As I walked up, the front door slowly creaked open. Not wide, just enough. And a voice from inside said, "Come in." I stopped right there on the porch. Every part of me was telling me to leave. And I actually turned halfway back toward my car. But then I pictured my bank account, and I turned back around. Inside, the lighting was low. Not dark enough to stumble, but dim enough to hide things. Plastic sheets on the floor. Tools scattered around. Boxes stacked against the walls. And then I saw him. Standing near the back. Tall. Thin. Wearing a jacket even though it wasn't cold. His face looked tired. Like he hadn't slept in days. But his eyes locked right on me. "You're late," he said. I almost corrected him. Almost said, "No, I'm not." But something about the way he said it made it feel like arguing wouldn't go anywhere good. So I let it go. He walked over and handed me a pair of gloves. His hand brushed mine for a second. Cold. Way colder than it should have been. "Everything in the back room goes into the truck," he said. "You don't open anything. You don't stop. You hear something. You ignore it." I gave this awkward half smile, like maybe he was joking. He didn't react. Didn't blink. That's when I realized he wasn't joking. So I nodded and walked toward the back room. The second I stepped inside, the temperature dropped. Not slightly. Noticeably. Like walking into a refrigerated space. The room was packed wall to wall with boxes, different sizes, different shapes, some sealed tight, others taped unevenly, like whoever packed them was in a hurry. I grabbed the first one, heavy, carried it out. loaded it into the truck, came back for another. At first, I focused on the work. Lift, walk, drop, repeat. Trying not to think too much, but after a few trips, something started to bother me. The silence. Out in the desert, there's always something. Wind, bugs, anything. In that house, it felt sealed off, like sound didn't belong there. Then I heard it. A faint shift behind me. I stopped, turned slowly. Just stacks of boxes. I stood there for a second, listening, telling myself it was the floor settling, or something inside a box shifting. So I grabbed another box and kept moving. A few minutes later, I picked one up that felt wrong. Too light. As I lifted it, something inside shifted, but not like an object sliding, more like it adjusted. I froze, holding it mid-air, trying to convince myself I imagined it. Then it moved again, clearer this time. I slowly set the box down, my chest tightening, and then I heard it. Soft, uneven, breathing. I stepped back fast, knocking into another stack behind me. That's when it hit me. I wasn't moving boxes, I was moving something else. I walked out of that room immediately. Didn't think, just moved. He was still there. Same spot. Like time hadn't moved for him at all. "I'm done," I said. He tilted his head slightly, not confused, more like disappointed. "That's not how this works." There was weight behind his words now, something heavier. He took a step closer, slow, controlled. "You finish," he said, "or you don't leave." For a second, I thought he was bluffing. So I turned toward the door, grabbed the handle, pulled. It didn't move. I pulled harder, still stuck. That's when the adrenaline hit, hard. I turned back, and he was smiling. Not wide, just enough to say, "You're exactly where I want you." "Back room," he said. And then I heard it again. But this time, it wasn't just one sound. It was coming from different parts of the house. Subtle movement, multiple directions. That's when something clicked in my head. I wasn't alone in there. I looked back at him, and he was gone. Gone. No footsteps, no door, no sound, just empty space where he had been standing. My chest tightened instantly. That kind of fear doesn't build slowly. It just hits. I grabbed a metal pipe off the floor without thinking, backed into the corner, listening. For a moment, it went quiet again. Then, a knock, from inside the wall, slow, deliberate. I didn't wait. I ran, straight to the windows. Every single one was boarded up. I checked my phone. No signal. Behind me, I could hear movement again, closer now, faster. I picked one window and started swinging the pipe. Hard. Over and over. Wood cracked. Splinters flying. Then, right behind me, I felt something. Not a hand. Not a grab. But close enough to freeze me for a split second. I swung again. The board split. I hit it one more time. And it broke open. I dropped the pipe and pulled myself through. And as I did, something brushed the back of my shirt. I didn't stop. I hit the ground outside and ran, straight to my car. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely get the key in. I kept looking up, expecting to see something in the doorway, or in the windows, watching. The engine finally turned over, and I drove. I didn't slow down, didn't look back, didn't stop. Not until I hit the main road. When my phone finally picked up signal again, it buzzed. One message from that same number. Most people don't get that far. I stared at it for a long time. Then I blocked the number, deleted everything, tried to forget it. But here's the part I can't shake. That job posting. I checked a few days later. It was still up. Same words, same number. And every time I think about it, I picture someone else, driving down that same dirt road, telling themselves it's just a job. If you made it this far, you already know. Some money isn't worth it. And if you ever see something like that, cash. No details. Immediate start. Ask yourself why no one else took it before you do.